Hello Curious! In recent days, there has been a lot of controversy surrounding comedian Dave Chappelle and Netflix. Namely, his latest Netflix special, The Closer, that has had audiences divided due to some jokes and statements that many internet users had seen as transphobic. That in itself has started a wave of people calling the comedian out, and things even went as far as several Netflix employees being suspended, allegedly in connection with the reaction to his special. But that's not all. Even some producers of Netflix's popular shows had decided to quit in protest. What exactly did Chappelle say in his Netflix special that had many people so outraged? Why did some people get their jobs suspended, and does it relate to Dave, who had walked away from the company? And what did the 48-year-old react to all this criticism directed his way? Stay with us until the very end to find what this whole controversy is about. But before we continue, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our future videos. The famous stand-up comedian, writer, actor and producer was born on August 24, 1973 in Washington, D.C. Comedy was something that he had been interested in since the very beginning, moving to New York City to pursue a career as a comedian. Things weren't easy at the start, as when he performed at Harlem's famed Apollo Theatre in front of an amateur night audience, he was booed off stage. Though he persisted and continued with his career in the entertainment industry, starring in such movies as Robin Hood, Men in Tights, The Nutty Professor, and A Star is Born, among others. The pivotal turn in his career came in 2003 when he debuted his own weekly sketch comedy show on Comedy Central called Chappelle's Show. Since then, Dave has worked on several other hit comedy shows such as Dave Chappelle Equanimity, Sticks and Stones, and the most recent, The Closer, which had been produced by Netflix for their streaming platform. These were a massive success and earned him plenty of award nominations and wins. Chappelle has won the Primetime Emmy Award for both Equanimity and Sticks and Stones, as well as winning the Grammy Award for these shows in the category Best Comedy Album. In total, all his success had helped the comedian amass an impressive net worth, which has been estimated at around $50 million. Given all the success, it is not hard to imagine that Dave is one of the most favoured stand-up comedians by audiences. So, it is nothing new that when he announced his brand new comedy special, The Closer, people were very excited by it. When the trailer dropped, it featured Chappelle driving down a country road while Morgan Freeman narrated it. As he sat beside him, had fans eagerly counting down the days until October 5th, when his slate of comedy specials for the streaming platform was coming to an end. When the day finally came, as it turned out, there had been some things in the new show that had made some people feel uncomfortable. This would not be the first time that this comedian had said something controversial during his comedy shows. In Equanimity, he was slammed for making jokes targeted at the transgender community. Later in his Sticks and Stones special, the list of controversies grew, which resulted in him facing backlash for making jokes about the allegations against Michael Jackson and R. Kelly for his commentary on the LGBT community, which involved a stereotypical impression of a Chinese person, which he performed during a joke about transgender people. Yet many internet users had claimed that with The Closer, they have had enough. While there were many things that some people would take offense to, we're going to focus on the most controversial ones. One of the most talked about aspects of the show was the fact that Chappelle had defended J.K. Rowling, something that many people didn't agree with. In the special, Dave can be heard saying, "They cancelled J.K. Rowling. Oh my god, effectively, she said gender was a fact, the trans community got mad as shit, and they started calling her a TERF." In case some of you might not be aware what the acronym that critics of the Pride to Rowling stands for, it means Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminists, which relates to someone who believes in feminism but does not include transgender women as part of their belief. Chappelle then went on to say that the way they see trans women was the way black people look at blackface, and later also went on to add that he too identifies as a TERF. And since we have spoken out about Rowling's controversy, if you want to know more about what she said, you can do so by clicking on the link above to check out our previous video. But for now, stay with us to find out why Netflix suspended their staff. To further add to the controversy, the comedian then spent a few minutes going on about the biological aspects of gender, discounting what many critics and transgender activists had argued that reduces the conversation to mere biology rather than the social construct of gender. He called gender a fact, as every human being on Earth has to pass through the legs of a woman to be on this planet. He tried defending himself by saying that he is not saying that trans women aren't women, and that went on to talk about their genitals, alluding to the fact that women have vaginas. The special, which is currently number 3 on US Netflix's top 10, also features a dig at gay people, when Chappelle said that he doesn't hate gay people, that he respects them, but not all, as he is not fond of the newer gays, whom he calls sensitive and too brittle, adding that he misses the old school Stonewall gays that didn't take from anybody. As you can imagine, Curious, these comments didn't go down well with internet users, as well as several organizations. The executive director of the National Black Justice Coalition had called Netflix to pull the special from its platform, stating that perpetuating transphobia perpetuates violence. GLAAD had also weighed in on the controversy, commenting that Dave's brand has been synonymous with ridiculing trans people and other marginalized communities. But how did Dave react to this criticism? Well, at times, being heralded as the greatest living comic, he held a sold-out show at LA's iconic Hollywood Bowl, which was attended by many celebrity guests. Touching upon cancel culture and reacting to a standing ovation he received, the 48-year-old said, "If this is what being cancelled is like, I love it." So that wouldn't be the end of the problems with regard to the comedy special, the comedian, and Netflix. In light of the controversy, even streaming platform employees had something to say, and one of them was Tara Field, who on Twitter identifies herself as trans and as a senior software engineer at Netflix. Taking to her social media, she wrote, "I work at Netflix. Yesterday we launched another Chappelle special where he attacks the trans community and the very validity of transness, all while trying to pit us against other marginalized groups." In another tweet, Tara went on to add, "What we object to is the harm that content like this does to the trans community, especially trans people of color, and very specifically black trans women." Then Field went on to include a list of 38 trans and non-binary men and women of color who she had said had their lives taken, adding in each case that the victim is not offended. And not long after that, various media outlets reported that Field and 2 other Netflix employees had been suspended from work. Given that this happened not long after Tara's Twitter post, many had connected the dots and claimed the reason for this was her criticism of the platform and Chappelle. However, as the Daily Mail reported, a person familiar with the matter had told them that the reason for the suspension was them joining a quarterly meeting for company directors and vice presidents without gaining authorization. The person added that the decision was a result of an investigation and not speaking out against Dave. As per Variety, in a statement, Netflix had said that it was absolutely untrue that they suspended employees for tweeting about the show, as their staff is encouraged to disagree openly and that they are, as a company, support their rights to do so. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos had spoken out about the issue, taking a side with the comedian. In a memo that was sent out to all staff and confirmed by The Hollywood Reporter, Sarandos had warned senior staff that some talent may join third parties in asking us to remove the show in the coming days, which we are not going to do. In the memo, he went on to say that Chappelle is one of the most popular stand-up comedians today, adding that they have a long-standing deal with him. Ted also wrote that just like with their other talent, the company works hard to support their creative freedom, even if this means there will be content on the platform some people believe is harmful, just like 365 Days, 13 Reasons Why, My Unorthodox Life, or Cuties. He also highlighted that the platform doesn't allow titles that are designed to incite hate or violence, and that he doesn't believe The Closer crosses that line. Though since we mentioned Cuties, why not check out our previous video to find out why the Netflix movie was heavily criticized. In light of Chappelle's work being on the platform and the things that he has said, some employees had decided to quit altogether. One of them is Jacqueline Moore, who worked as showrunner and executive producer of the hit Netflix show Dear White People. Taken to her social media, Moore wrote that she loved working for the company, but added that she will not work with them as long as they continue to put out and profit from blatantly and dangerously transphobic content. Many internet users had also called out the company, claiming that it is not as tolerant as they might want everyone to think when they produce shows such as Sex Education, which often touches upon the LGBTQ+ community and the issues they face. Others also point out that with his Hollywood Bowl sold-out show that was attended by the likes of Brad Pitt, it does not look like his jokes will have any impact on his career. So curious, what do you think about the most recent drama involving Dave Chappelle and Netflix? Do you think they had a right to be offended? Or do you think they were exaggerating? Have you seen Chappelle's new comedy special? And do you think this will have an effect on his career? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. And if you enjoy our content, then you can click on the thanks button below to support us. Until next time.